Hilarious.
Yeah, I'll get it. Hello? Hey, yo, scumbag. Hey, suck your own. Eat me. Hey, same to you, buttface. Mom says hi.
Around the clock, we're gonna rock to the rhythm of the street. Down the block, around the clock, we're gonna rock. The dreams you give, the snakes can talk. Wanna be somebody, be a contender. Gotta reach for the sky. If you want it, fight for it, or kiss it goodbye. It's make it or break it. Try to survive. Don't ever say never. Keep your dream alive. Around the clock.
He's Blake. I'm Ronnie. All the good names are taken. Podcast, Pink Eye Edition, Blake. Shades on. What's going on, buddy?
Well, I mean, Ronnie, this is my Jordan. This is my Jordan flu game.
Explain what we're talking about here. If you see the
that's
hashtag
right. I
Pink Eye-
forgot. I'm going to have to explain the Jordan flu game to our audience.
Yes. Exactly. He's wearing six.
Jesus has already started. So here we go. I got pink eye, and pretty much this is a classic example of the show must go on, Ronnie. I will not miss.
Oh, there you
I don't know what's in worse shape right now. Both my eyes or your mic.
Well, it'd probably be my mic. I mean, it's something amazing because I've had the door open for the last little bit. I shut the door to do the show, and now the signal's gone. It's amazing.
Open
Absolutely
the door.
amazing. If I open the door, we will hear the whole family. You mean you open the door?
Just open the door.
All right.
If the family comes in, we'll shut the stream down. Pink eye sucks. It really sucks. I'm driving down the road, and at one point, my eye just closed.
You have a stroke?
I think I would have preferred if it was a stroke.
So you told me you just woke up and your eye was matted shut. So, you know, we both know your kids have been sick with pink eye, and it took you this long to get it, or did you get it fairly quickly?
Ronnie, I got this in the middle of the day yesterday. Like in the middle of my work day. Felt like my eyes, my one of my eyes was watering. And then when I went to the bathroom, it looked like just this whole eye was just one big booger. Naturally, I'm doing this, and I'm like, and now it's everywhere. This is all ruined.
When you said booger,
Said that there's a right time for love, and I said that there's a wrong time.
that's all I could think about when you said booger, shouldn't I laugh like that? Well, dude, I'm sorry you've got pink eye, and you are a true professional. I don't see many of these YouTubers coming up. Well, yes, I do. Never mind. I was going to say I don't see many YouTubers on the with health problems coming on to actually still do the show, but we've had a lot here lately. I mean, you're
Well,
on
honestly, that's what inspired me is specifically Craven. You know, going through everything he's going through and still going
Still live
live from
streaming?
the operating table.
That's true. I mean, inspiration. So before anybody says, I'm wearing sunglasses to honor Blake, to make him feel like nothing's wrong. I want everything to feel normal. And yes, these are, as Costanza would say, these are ladies' frames. So it's
They
not
look
like a
good.
crap.
They look good though. They look
I
really
sort of
good.
look like one of those Marvel characters with the bee eyes. No, I sort of look like the Bumblebee guy from Masters of the Universe that had the bee eyes. I don't know if you remember him or not. I can't remember his name. I think his name was Busy Bee or something like that. So, Blake, what's happened this week that you want to talk about, or do you want to get straight into just one of the guys?
You know, not a lot's happened. I got really I watched Scream 5 again to get ready for Scream 6.
I don't know when the last time I saw Scream 5 was.
You didn't miss anything. It's not any good.
I just know the Dennis Quaid's kid's in there. I knew immediately when he was in there, he had to be the killer.
Why is that?
Why else would he take the role? He's just gotten big on that TV series, The Boys. So why would you take a step down for a role where you get killed as a extra when you only take that role to be the killer?
So it's almost like I get what you're saying, and all the returning cast for part 6, and then you got a couple of brand new names. Those are the killers.
Yes, unless they go the opposite way, which I won't know. I'm not going to spend money on that crap.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I'll watch Nick Push's review where he tells me everything that happens.
Guys, this is spoiler free, but so and so's the killer.
It's spoiler free, but here's everything that happened. Here's spoiler free. Blake, I was kind of amazed. What was it? A couple of nights ago, we just randomly went live to test out this new laptop that is functioning perfectly now that the door's open. But and we had people jump on, and it turned into a random conversation that we never meant for that to happen. We ended up talking about the Ninja Turtles trailer that came out, and
we did. I forgot about that.
The footage from the Roadhouse movie with Jake Gyllenhaal that's coming out. So for people that came on to join us in that conversation, thank you. We've put that video on private. I didn't figure there was no need to leave it up, Blake, for people to watch you driving down the road and me going, hey, is this thing on? Is this thing on?
I got to say, Ronnie, that the sunglasses, I feel like a dog wearing one of them cone things right now. I want to rub my eyes so bad, but I also don't want to show the world my face.
So there's no chance that we can get like a Friday the 13th part 3 moment where you raise up the mask and let us see what's going on underneath there, or maybe save it to the end.
Maybe Maverick has pink eye. Maybe that's maybe he has permanent pink eye.
You think that's his gimmick? Is he's got pink eye?
I finally figured it out. He has pink eye. Poor guy.
I tell you what, I don't think I've shouted him out much lately, but that he seems like a good guy. He's been showing up in our streams. He's been very supportive in our comments. So
I love how you say he seems like a good guy. I wouldn't follow these people or interact with these people if I didn't think they were good guys, Ronnie. I mean, it's just that simple.
Well, I don't like anybody, so I'm just sort of saying he seems like a decent human being. Sort of like Nick Push was. So you want to get right into it, Blake?
Let's get right into it, man.
Let's go. It's going to be a quick one tonight, guys. Wednesday. Boom.
I spent $2.99 on this, Ronnie. That's the first time in the history of our 7 years of putting out content, whether it's on iTunes or on YouTube, that I actually spent money. I went to Amazon Prime and rented this movie for $2.99.
Is that real, or is that real, or is that a gimmick? You've never spent money to rent anything since we've been reviewing movies?
Not one time. Either I have had access to it, or you gave me your information for where you rent it, or usually you buy it on something and give me your information. So all the years that we did 31 days, you've never had to rent anything? No.
That is freaking amazing, Blake. That's freaking amazing. I mean, I really find that very hard to believe.
Well,
all right.
Believe it, brother. Believe it.
Shape of Horror podcast. Bud is in the chat. Are those glass Z87 safety rated? I don't know what that means. Bud, I don't know what that means, but when you're gorgeous, you don't have to explain.
questions like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bud's obviously out in the element with his job. I mean, if he knows, the safety glasses and hardware and stuff that you got to wear, he's obviously a man's man.
He is a man's man.
He's the
So
guy
what-
probably holding safety meetings in the morning, telling everybody, watch your slips, trips, and falls. Don't put your hands anywhere you don't put your D.
So I had a theory, and then we'll get to the movie. We'll get to just one of the guys on Bud. So obviously, we made such a huge deal Sunday when he came in with his burner account.
It took over the show.
Yeah, and we just stopped the review. For anybody that hasn't seen that, go back and watch it. But we made a point of asking why he would go to the look that he's got now. Why would he go to the look that he's got now when he had that look that was working before? And he told us he couldn't shave his beard. He said, I could never grow.
Hey, wait a minute. Do I hear a hair dryer in the background? Is that a
that's
hair dryer?
You wanted the door open. That's chaos coming in. So he was like, I can't grow the beard back. But he never gave us a reason for not being able to grow the beard back.
What do you think happened the way he can't grow his beard back?
Well, maybe his job won't allow him to have facial hair. I thought about that for a second.
Yeah.
And I also thought about maybe he was a burn victim.
I don't think he's a burn victim. I think we would be able to tell if he was a burn victim. But you're right. I used to have a job where you had to be clean shaven. And by the way, the whole clean shaven for 2023 thing is still going strong.
You
But,
shaved every week?
Yeah. Every single week. Sometimes twice a week, sometimes two toys. But I used to work in the oil field, and you had to be clean shaven. That way you could wear the oxygen mask or whatever. It would seal off. So I'm sure Bud's in a hero situation like that. I mean, he's been a hero ever since he was 18 years old, Ronnie.
1 second.
Oh, man. I don't let Nick push his promotion behind me get idle. Ronnie's going right now in the background to tell his family to shut up.
No, I just shut the door a little bit because, I mean, it's going to be a crazy night. It's going to be technology. It's going to be noise. Ronnie is correct. I'm guessing the burn victim. I
Burn
knew it.
victim.
That's the reason he's always looking down in his videos. He's staring at the ground because he got burned up like Dark Man.
Kind of like Harvey Dent and Batman.
Sort of. He's been in the energy industry for nearly 20 years and has never worn a gas mask.
Well, what are you talking about? Like energy drinks?
Monster.
He's in the monster business. I got you.
Let's get this review so I can get the hell out of here. Here we go. Blake.
Now, Ronnie, I always say when you see this logo, you know you're in for a good movie. And I'll say this. You always say when there's scenes going on in post credits, you know it's a classic movie. I'll counter that with this. When a movie opens up with an alarm clock going off, followed by an 80s banger, you know it's going to be a good movie.
This movie, I never knew it started off like this. As a kid, as a teen, I always caught it on HBO, and it was already halfway done. So I never understood or never knew just how much they focused.
You never knew how
never
just
knew how-
what now?
That's what I was going to say. I never knew how much they focused on showing every little bit of her body that they could at the very beginning of the movie. All right, we got a Twitch thing happening on. Hold on a second.
Boz donates $3 and says, I like the fact that this movie spends the first 10 minutes showing Carrie in her underwear so that we know what is underneath those clothes when she is walking around acting like a tranny. The whole movie.
Thanks for the donation. And yeah, they spend the first little bit of the movie, like this scene right here. We get to see her in her nightie. She walks outside. She's got the perfect rich life right here. This Joyce Heiser, 29 years old, Blake, at the start of filming this movie, and dating Bruce Springsteen. I read online at the time. The boss even stopped by the set to visit her one day.
So this is like you've reached the top, right? This is the peak life. You've just been cast in a mid-'80s teen movie. You're the star of it, and you're dating Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, I mean, especially 1986, Bruce Springsteen was huge. They were still casting 30-year-olds as teenagers in movies, and they spend the first. They literally spend like the first 10 minutes of the movie saying, "Look, guys, this is what's supposed to be hidden
This is a
underneath all
girl.
these." Yeah,
This is a girl.
This is a girl, and this is what's going to be hidden under the jeans and the fashion and all that. So this is the definition, Blake, of rich white kids by themselves for apparently ever. It's like the parents just bought the kids a separate house and disappeared.
Well, and I don't know if it's just an area thing, like where we live, but everybody out there in the comments, were y'all getting left home for weeks at a time? I mean, their parents went on vacation without their kids for 2 weeks. That's just unheard of down here in the South. But you're right. This is definitely some sort of privilege. I mean, do you trust two teenagers to stay at home for 2 weeks all alone?
Absolutely not, especially these two. The brother, I can't decide if I'm on the fence, if I'm on side of that Buddy really makes the movie good, or if I'm super annoyed by our brother. What's your thoughts on the brother?
I think you can be both, Ronnie. I think you can be both because I was prepared to come on here and say that he's the best part of this movie. He's the funniest part of this movie, but I think you're right at the same time. That's sad, bud. But yeah, Ronnie, I feel my question is I didn't have time. Obviously, I couldn't see my computer screen, but I disagree. I think it's why is it uncomfortable for you to watch? Explain that in the comments.
Yeah, tell us about that, bud. Why is it uncomfortable to watch?
But Ronnie, why wasn't this kid a bigger star? I know I asked that. I don't know. King of Sanity, the King of Sanity is that?
Jesus.
Why wasn't this kid? This kid seems like the perfect younger brother for any 80s movie or TV show, and I don't remember seeing him in anything else, Ronnie.
I don't either. I'm sure he's been in a bunch of stuff, probably a bunch of TV shows, and I didn't look up his IMDb filmography. I just know that I understand what they were going for with this character. He's super horned up. He's 15 years old. He's got, like, they start the movie off, he's just randomly reading a Playboy and opening it up in front of his sister here during breakfast. And apparently all they eat is pizza throughout the whole movie because it's teens that's been left alone. So of course they're going to get pizza. But these two, underneath all the goofiness of the brother, these two have a really close relationship. They are like literally best friends, even though he's that difficult to get along with. I mean, every time she's got a problem, she's going to her 15-year-old brother.
Yeah.
Throughout this movie. And that was one thing that I picked up on this, even though he's supposed to be the comic relief character. And at the end of it, he's diving in to help her when they're fighting, and we'll get to that. So there you go. She's got the perfect life. Money, looks, a great boyfriend who picks her up every morning to drop her off at high school. And I guess that's what a college-age boyfriend would do at the time.
Look at that. Check out that yard. Look how neat that yard is, Ronnie.
It's been mowed. So, I mean, well, yeah, Bud, everybody in 80s teen movies are 30 years old. So, I mean, I get what you're saying. They're all old, but I mean, it's just the way it was. I mean, I'm pretty sure Kavina there that's driving, I think he's 45 years old. I mean, but he was in Hamburger the Motion Picture, so I'm going to cut him some slack.
Yeah, this is definitely Dollar General or Family Dollar or Diet Emilio Estevez driving this car right here.
Great value, Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
The hair is great. The face is great. He looks like he could have spent like a lifetime on Skinamax making those movies. What I'm focused on, Blake.
Wow, he could have.
Yeah, he's gorgeous. In the background, you got Terry's car. So she doesn't drive her car, but there's a flagpole back there too. And nothing says money like having a flagpole in your yard. I'm just saying.
Yeah, do you think it's a rebel flag on top though?
Well, I don't think they're in the South, so you're not going to see many rebel flags, but it could be I don't tread on me. So there you go. You never know.
Yeah.
I've got a couple pictures here in a row that appear to be the same thing. She's dropped off at high school, and you see she's one of the most popular, desirable girls at this school. And it's because of the 180 that's fixing to happen whenever she starts her little experiment where she goes from being super gorgeous, super popular, everybody wants to be with her, to a geek. All right. She gets to experience both sides of the coin. But in the background, you know how I love to watch the background right here. The name of the place is Edwina Pearl High School. And I read somewhere that this is the same school they use for Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
That's right. This was San Dimas High School, Ronnie.
San Dimas. Not many slides for this review, Blake, but I do want to focus on the background. Like, look at Hand right here in the football jersey. That was that is just great. You got people hugged up. This is typical 80s. I see somebody smoking by the flagpole. I'm going to bring up every time I can that back in the 80s, they had a smoking section for high school students. They would walk out in between classes and burn one, as they used to say. If anybody's wondering about the glasses, check out the hashtag. Hold on. I got to switch over our thing, Blake. You didn't tell me that.
I didn't notice.
Our
Ronnie,
setup.
you're usually anti-woman and this person, and they're always ugly. Let me ask you something. Opening scene. What do you think of Terry?
I mean, it's a female.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, it's a female. So I mean,
So you're not interested in Terry?
no, my wife's gorgeous. I'm not interested in Terry.
It's not. I ain't telling you to cheat on your wife and leave your family, Ronnie.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Here's what I was fixated on Terry: the bad wig. Because she starts the movie wearing a wig. It wasn't a situation where they used her real hair and then in the middle, and that they could have done that, Blake, because also IMDb says that the movie was shot in chronological order. So in reality, they could have had her use her real hair, then got her hair cut, and then filmed those scenes. This is most obviously a wig, and it doesn't do her any justice. I don't know what's different about this wig and the hair she had at the beginning of the movie, but this is definitely not working for her. You may know this other character's name, but she's known as Geek Best Friend that can't get anybody worth a damn to ask her out throughout the whole movie, and she's wearing an incredible sweater. So there you go.
Yeah, that sweater's straight from Saved by the Bell.
Blake, for 5 bonus points, what movie was this guy a bomb? The bomb squad specialist.
Bomb squad specialist. That sounds like some Naked Gun stuff.
No, in Forever Ruined by Becoming Terry. Look at her 40-year-old friend. See, I think the blonde actually looks younger than Terry in that scene. Let's go back, Blake. See what you think.
I disagree. I think the blonde looks way older than Terry.
Well, see, Bud's fixated. Bud's done got to the point now. Bud is fixated on the age. Don't be worried about the age. I mean, Olivia Newton-John was 57 years old in Greece. Nobody cares. Michael, damn it. Rush Hour. He's actually trying to guess, Blake, whether or not.
That's an unfortunate last name. Is your dad named God? Ronnie, I heard a joke the other day since you mentioned Greece. Down here in the South, you know how the South can get, right? In Mississippi.
Yeah.
There was a Chinese family that moved to town. They only stayed in town a couple of months, but this girl came to my school and I was like, "Hey, what's your name?" She's like, she gave me her name. I couldn't say it. She goes, "But I'm going by Sandy now." And I'm like, "Well, how'd you come up with Sandy?" She's like, "To avoid getting made fun of, my family all sat around and we came up with new names, and we got our names from movies. And I picked Sandy because I was a new girl coming to a new school, and she fit in great and everybody liked her. And do you know what movie it is?" And I said, "No, I don't." She said, "Grease." And I said, "Well, did your other family members pick names from movies?" And they said, "Yeah." I asked my dad Rambo how he got his.
Dude, that was a long way. That was a long way for that. You went a long way for that joke. Bud guessed it correctly. I wonder if he looked it up or not. But this is the guy that has the talk with Martin Riggs in Lethal Weapon 2 when
he's sitting on the commode.
Murtaugh's on the shitter, and he actually Riggs gives this guy his pistol in case he died. So there you go.
It's an intense moment. Jake Blaster says Johnny Lawrence is great in this movie. I want to say real quick, Ronnie, that I'm very proud of William Zabka for getting out of his element and doing something fresh. In this movie, he plays a high school bully.
Well, here I want you to point everybody get their attention to the left of the screen right there, because there's a competition going on. The Sun Tribune is offering, I'm guessing, one or either hundreds of free internships over the summer, because there's multiple schools involved in this. And Terry, as we back it up, what we didn't focus on is Terry is hard at work in her one class, which is journalism. She's the best journalist in the world until she actually has to write something. And the guy right here is like, you know what? Your writing sucks. Your writing absolutely sucks. And she doesn't win. Here's another scene, Blake. And like I said, the majority of this review, because this is a very simple movie to review, but I am so fascinated with the background stuff. The background. So, for example, we've got a freaking amazing, looks like denim dress right here, Blake.
Well, it looks like the chick on the left is going through the Jada Pinkett thing with the hair. It's falling out. And I'm more curious about that Nerdburger dead center in the back. His jeans come down to just below his knees. I was going
to talk about him next.
He's definitely a killer nerd.
He's got inverted ass too, which makes his knees go forward. And the back, this is a rare thing for the people in the chat if you haven't seen this. The back of the pants leg is actually higher than the front of the pants leg, and that's because lack of gluteus maximus back there. And at the same time, he has the camel hump working, but you got to admire him. He's got the dress shoes on, he's got the socks, but they're rolled down, or either they're just loose and fell down. He's got the high waters because it's supposed to rain later in the day, and he's wearing a tie.
Is he wearing a tie? How can you tell that?
Because I watched the movie and he turned around.
I got you.
Screenshot right here. This guy.
Ronnie, you're making fun of his muscles and stuff. He's obviously got incredible arm strength because he's got books in one hand, and that means he's going to one hand the tray at lunch.
That is true. I could one hand the tray. The name comes from my mischievous ways when I was a baby. I was always getting the stuff I shouldn't have. My mom would yell, Michael, damn it. Well, that's a great way to get a name. So
that's a great origin story, man.
Yeah, I mean, the guy actually come through and told us. Nick Push talking noise. Blake hasn't worn sleeves since he won Blaster's game show. Chris, welcome to the chat, buddy. Where's the flood? Check out those jeans. The guy needs his ass kicked.
It looks like season 1 Zach Morris leaning on that table too, don't it?
Sort of. And he's wearing that big, thick denim jacket that I had to wear when I was at Powers.
That's like Good Morning, Miss Bliss, Zach.
Well, see you, Jake.
Jake came in to tell us he's leaving and to promote his stuff. Y'all make sure to go check out.
Yeah, y'all check out that top 20 of 1983.
What songs came out in 83, Ronnie?
I would have zero idea. I don't know.
Oh, you better tune in Jake's episode.
Yeah, tune in to Jake. So when Terry goes to see, because she knows for a fact that she's won this competition, when they walk up to the board here, she sees these two articles right here. And I want to focus on these articles, Blake. The cheaters. How, why, and who gets cheated. No idea what that even means. Drugs. How high is Pearl High? So that would actually be an article that I'm interested in, is how many people at the high school are doing drugs? How many teachers at the high school are doing drugs? So, I'm there. The how, why, and who cheated, I have no idea what's going on there. It's possibly an article on all the couples at the place that are at the school that are cheating on each other. But she thought hers was way more fascinating, and we never hear what it's about. Or am I wrong by that?
No, you're wrong. The teacher from Lethal Weapon 2 says you got to find something that's going to grab people, something interesting. Do we really care about the nutrient contents of our lunch menu?
Okay, hold on a second, because Michael has said something very interesting. I'm here by the way of Mr. McCrae's channel. All right, Michael, so what does that mean?
We used to have a shopping.
Yeah, we had a J.C. Penney's, and McRae's was on the other end of the mall.
Yeah, we had a mall, and it was J.C. Penney's and McRae's. So
They shut down the McRae's.
McRae's has been gone a long time. It turned into Belk.
I just see. I'm fascinated by this. Every breath you take by the police. Well, there's number one right there. Bud knows. There's no Buck Cherry.
Wait a minute. So is Michael? Are you saying that what's his name, Ronnie? Dave McRae is promoting us?
No, I think what he's saying is he just hangs out at Dave McRae's channel, and he's waiting on Dave to go live. And in the meantime, he saw that just one of the guys has popped up, and nobody on the internet's going live with just one of the guys. So he wanted to check it out, make sure it was real.
Oh, okay. I got you.
He'll tell us. I mean, the dude gave us the origin of his name. Okay. So okay, we can fix this for you, Michael. It was TSL.
It definitely wasn't Dave McRae.
I don't think Dave has gotten into the mode where he's promoting us yet. But TSL always gives us a shout out. So those are good guys. Fantasy says he's all lit up again.
Yeah, more Buck Cherry references.
That dude's a maniac. So, Blake.
Biggest part of the movie right here, Ronnie.
Hold on. We've spent enough time with the YouTube chat. It's time for Twitch.
Sweet Bill donates $2 and says the teachers at this high school give off an extra rapey vibe.
Is that it?
Well, I mean, I guess he's done.
Okay. Well, yeah, he's right because Terry is in there looking at her paper and the notes on it as these two walk in. Now, I will give this newspaper Lethal Weapon 2 guy credit. He doesn't say anything. It's this other creep walking in that says, "Did you check out Terry today? Those legs, they go all the way up. Those cheeks, those bangs. Man, she's perfect. I'm thinking about failing her just so I have her again next year." And he says, you better watch that if you're going to keep this job. He's like, job don't pay much anyway. Now, him saying job don't pay much anyway, on Amazon Prime, the what's it called? The subtitles?
Yeah.
Says she has great jugs whenever he says that.
So you think they changed it?
I think they changed it, which makes sense with the ending of this movie.
Well, there you go. Okay, so I'm fascinated.
But that was that's her story right there, Ronnie. That would be her story. That would be her blackmail to get the get the internship. That's all she has to do.
That's what I would do. And if you're that teacher, how do you not go, okay, Terry, you win? Because all you have to do is, it was the 80s though, Blake. It was the 80s. They didn't really care about that back in the 80s. Like, teachers were openly dating students. So, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal back then. I don't think she could have ran to the principal and said, these two guys right here are objectifying me. And that's the reason my story wasn't picked. And we later find out that's not why our story wasn't picked. It wasn't picked because it was just bad. But you're right. These two guys right here discussing what she looks like and what she's wearing, especially the guy on the left, is it was like one of the creepiest parts of the movie.
Yeah, and she does the whole you picked two guys, you didn't pick me because I'm a woman. You think
you ain't never had a woman.
Exactly. I mean, she goes that whole route and he goes, I'll show you, you'll see, and she storms out.
And she doesn't show him because when she turns the same article into the new school, the dude says, this is terrible.
Well, he actually hits her with, just because you're a guy doesn't mean you can't write with some sensitivity and some heart, which really hits home for her because she knows she's a female.
So what's this guy's story? All of her friends, and by all of her friends, I mean the blonde, says that she has the perfect college boyfriend. And she's so happy that everybody loves her lot in life. Is this guy a geek for dating a high school student, or is he a cool guy?
That's a great question.
Because everything about him seems like he should be a cool guy.
My question is, when is he in class? When is he actually at college? Because he's taking her to school. He's hanging out at the house during the day. I mean, he's supposed to be a part of a fraternity. It's a good question, Ronnie. I can't decide if he's a cool guy or not. I will say this. I love his character. He has one of the best moments of the movie for me at the end.
I love those shorts. Like if I would, I mean, I want all my shorts to be that length right there. I can pull it off. I have the legs.
Those legs are smooth.
Yeah, well, he's shaving his legs. I'm just saying, I can definitely I vibe with those shorts, no doubt. Hey, Nick Push is in the channel. Nick Push's Hard channel. That's 80s cool right there. You damn right, Nick. Michael, let's see. Michael Dammit. I found TSL from Dave's channel, so it's full circle. Well, however you found us, Michael, we're glad you're here, buddy.
We really are. We love you.
Yeah. Then we only have like 6 people that follow us, so you make number 7. That guy looks like the Murdaugh guy who was convicted of killing his family. Blake, look that up really quick.
No, I already know it, Ronnie. And I think I put on Twitter a couple of days ago. I just don't get the fascination with this family. They're redheads. Who cares?
I'm so lost. But the before we get to that great scene, the back and forth between the brother and Kevin is pretty funny throughout the movie because Kevin cannot stand Buddy at all, and by the end of it, he's got his hands on him, which is great.
Yeah, for some reason, I always get uncomfortable, Ronnie, and I can't name another movie as an example, but I always get uncomfortable when the boyfriend has like altercations with the younger brother / younger sister in movies and TV shows. I don't know why.
What's the deal?
I think because I'm the younger brother. I don't know.
And you had altercations with my boyfriends?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so she's out lounging by the pool.
She's depressed. Yeah.
She's feeling sorry for herself.
AKA, let's squeeze in one more shot to show that she is a good-looking woman.
And he's swimming in the pool. And this, I even asked my wife, because you brought up a great point last night, Blake, that we're going to talk about later on. Or I guess we could talk about it now. Let's wait for later on. Are we supposed to not like this guy? I mean, he seems like a good boyfriend. He seems obsessed with money, but every male character in the 80s was obsessed with money.
Yeah.
But right here, he just tells her, he goes, look, I know you're bummed out about your journalism thing, but when I was a kid, I wanted to be a fireman. And guess what? All of a sudden, I didn't want to be a fireman when I found out how much money they made. Yeah. So he was telling her there's better careers out there for that pay a whole lot more. And he's just not, like, I guess what we're supposed to not like him for is he's not sensitive enough to know that journalism is her dream. If she only knew that like 35, 40 years later, journalism's dead anyway, there's no newspapers. So, but.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. They really didn't heal this guy up as much as they should. It's similar to our conversation about the boyfriend / fiance in Crocodile Dundee. They really didn't heal him up. He's not cheating on her. Yeah, you think the girl, her best friend mentions him all the time. So I'm like, okay, he's going to end up sleeping with the best friend or whatever. And that's going to be the issue they have when she falls in love with someone else or whatever. That's going to be her excuse to get rid of him. But no, he's actually not a bad guy throughout this movie. I do have an alternate ending for him. We'll talk about that at the end that okay. I think would have made a little bit more sense. But yeah, here we go.
One more shot for all the guys in the chat. There you go. So she decides, she concocts a plan. She is going to pretend to be a boy. She's going to go to another school. She's going to submit her story, and she's going to show everybody how sexist people are when judging female writing. And she's going to win that internship at the Sun Tribune. So they have a whole scene where Buddy's trying to show her how to walk like a man. It's completely ridiculous. He's showing her how to scratch her crotch. Actually shows her how to pack some socks down into her pants to give herself a bulge, and we've got Twitch on that.
Harper donates 2 free lives and says, good move by Terry with the socks. I used to put socks in my pants. My dad saw the bulge in church when I was 22 and whipped my ass for being a pervert.
Well, there you go. There you go. So he's showing her how to act, how to talk, mannerisms.
Ronnie, do you ever do the sock gimmick?
No, I've never done the sock gimmick. Dude, I'm an overweight guy. Most pairs of pants I have are skin tight anyway. So, I mean, if I was to do the sock, it'd look like Mike Myers from that skit on Saturday Night Live, or it like Sprockets. Wasn't that the name of it? Sprockets. I can't remember. I did
the sock gimmick one time. It was like during a weigh-in, but it was obvious. You could tell like I had a tumor down there.
Jason Drawn. Is it Drawn? My first books in a movie. I was in love with Terry Great review, Buzz. Thank you, Jason. Thank you. Go ahead, Blake.
What? I mean, I don't have nothing. Go to the next slide.
Oh, I was gonna. Anytime my thing drops down, I just don't want to talk.
Oh, well, I mean, during this slide, I think you already hit it though. Like he's teaching her how to scratch his balls. You know, all balls itch. He tells her. He teaches her how to walk, how to talk, and everything. And then we get this ridiculousness coming up to the new school. Now, Ronnie, explain to me real quick.
Yeah.
It's a great plan. She decides to dress up as a boy to prove sexism or whatever. Like if she turned this in as a male, it would get picked. So she's going to go to another school for 2 weeks. Like what is going on at her school right now? Did she register as a new kid at this school and, under her same name? And like, what's going on with the classes back at Pearl? You see what I'm saying? Like
you must be looking at the chat on Twitch because that is being asked right now.
Fat Slow Joey donates $1 and says, I don't understand Terry's plan. She changed schools and pretended to be a boy to get her writing fairly judged, but then they told her that her writing still sucked as a boy. How the hell did she register at a new school? Don't they need birth certificates and parents to sign paperwork?
I mean, maybe there's like a month left in school. So
Jet with the great line. Oh, great. Another tulip.
Yeah. So, of course. No, after he helps her with the earring, use a eraser as the back of your earring. He goes, oh yeah, this kid, Terry, helped me. Of course he did. He's a tulip.
So Blake, what do you think about this look? Cause obviously I think I could make a pretty decent looking woman because all fat girls look the same, long hair, just cover the face, wear something and, pretty much dye my hair yellow or purple so they won't look at my face. That's what most fat people do.
Go with yeller, you hick.
So what do you think about this look right here for? It's kind of, I think this is probably the best they could do to make her look like a guy. But this style it's awful.
I think this is when you weigh 105 pounds, this is your only choice.
Big baggy clothes.
Yeah.
And look at the guy behind her. That looks like Jason from Friday 13th Part 2.
And speaking of Friday 13th Part 2, Nick Push, stay tuned because your favorite character in the Friday franchise, Ted, is in this movie. And he may be even more annoying in this than he is in Part 2. We'll talk about that.
Well, here's the deal. Buddy should have really smartened her up about who to walk around and who not to walk around. Okay. So see, I'm fascinated with Bud right now. He said this picture is why this movie makes me uncomfortable.
I don't get why he's so uncomfortable, Ronnie.
You want me to tell you real quick?
Sure.
You want me to
Ronnie, I want you to give it to me straight about Bud.
I'm going to give it to you straight about Bud. All right. So Bud thinks Terry's a really good looking gal. And even when she's male Terry, Bud still wants to do her. And that makes him conflicted because he's conflicted because it's a guy. But it's not a guy. So
I'll say this. I don't know what it says about me, but I prefer Terry, the short hair Terry, over what we saw in the intro. Like when Terry's at home dressed as a girl with the short hair, I think I dig the short hair more than I like the long stuff in the beginning.
See, I was going to bring up it's a Legend of Billie Jean type thing. I can't remember what year the Legend of Billie Jean came out. I'm sure one of the guys in the chat to tell me. But the Legend of Billie Jean, where you got Helen Slater, I believe it's Helen Slater, and she cuts her hair and she goes with the short look. I'm trying to decide who wore it better. Was it Bud say in 1985 for the Legend of Billie Jean? Helen Slater had, I think, the ideal short hair for really good-looking girls in the 80s. So there you go. I don't know. You've never seen Legend of Billie Jean, so you have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, I don't have a clue. I'll say this, though, Bud, as far as being uncomfortable, I need, and listen, before I say this, and Ronnie, don't get nervous, I'm not anti-gay, but I don't know how you can go from being best friends with someone that you think is a guy, and then they reveal themselves after 2 or 3 weeks to be a woman, and now you want to date them. Like, I don't know how you get from that level to this level.
See, you just brought up a great point.
I guess
And-
those titties changed him.
What's the main guy's? What's the
Rick
Rick
Morehouse.
You know, Rick thinks she's a guy,
Yeah,
but she does certain things in the movie that Rick thinks she's gay.
right.
But Rick still considers her a male friend. And then when she reveals herself, now granted, it's only been like a week, so it's not like they were friends for 2 years, and then he finds out she's a girl.
But that's irrelevant, Ronnie. This guy has moved, seven in 3 years. He's moved 7 schools. He has 0 friends. He is with nobody when he's introduced. And then you got this guy who
We
shows
can't
up.
afford to be innocent.
You got this guy who shows up, who gives him rides home, who takes interest in him. He opens up and says that I like James Brown music. This friend buys him
geek.
clothes, buys him lunch, buys him clothes, helps him get his dream date. So yeah, he sees this person even in a short amount of time. This is my best friend.
Yeah, she does a lot of psychological damage to him. And he just forgives her. And I think you guys hit it on the head, you and Bud, with why. And then Jet's coming in with this right here. So Buddy didn't smarten her up that when
It would be like Nick Push saying Blake and lifting up his shirt and having these big old pair of titties, and all of a sudden I'm like, I want to date Nick Push now, even though I've been buddies with him for how long, Ronnie? A few months. Has it been a year?
Are we buddies with him?
Well, yeah. We're going to see Scream 6 together.
Ah.
No, if Nick Push opened his shirt and let those melons out, and I'm like, I got to ask him out now. Like,
I got a feeling if he opened his shirt up, those melons would fall out anyway, even with him being a guy. Slinkies. So Buddy didn't smarten her up that when bullies are harassing and just smashing this guy right here, you don't walk up and try to act cool, because all they're looking for is more people to beat. Now we've got Johnny Lawrence to the left, and apparently it's his uncle on the right here, because this guy's got the tightest pair of pants with the belt. He's wearing the big and tall shirt like I used to have, because they only had certain designs that you could wear, but he's not a fat guy. He's just a gigantic 35-year-old that's playing a high school student.
Yeah. I don't really understand what's going on right here. I mean, I do understand I do understand the bullying, Ronnie. What I'm saying is we're at the end of the school year. It's almost prom time. There's only a couple of weeks left until these kids graduate. And it's like he is showing it's like these kids are new to school, and he's showing them around. Like, this is how you work out. This is how you do this. And this is how you do that. So I really don't understand what's going on here.
I think it's a situation where his whole life, he's like Anthony Michael Hall from Community. His whole life is a gym. So every aspect of the day, he's showing guys how he lives by bullying people. Full extension on the lift, picking up right here, working his deltoids, thinking like that. And she just walks up laughing like an idiot. Dude, when stuff like this happens, Buddy should have smartened her up and said, if somebody's getting their britches ripped through their butt crack, you avoid that. You just avoid that. And you're right, Jet. Zabka looks like a jerk. He was born looking like a jerk. Every role he had, being a jerk, was a perfect role for him. But Blake, wouldn't you think he bulked up a little bit from Karate Kid? From Karate Kid to just one of the guys? He looks jacked.
Yeah, he does look much bigger in this, and they say this is number 2 in the Zabka bully trilogy. You had Karate Kid in '84, this in '85, and then he did Back to School in '86.
Back to School, I love that hair. So of course he walks up and he's like, "Hey," and he goes, "Just we need another P." Look at the guy speaking of P. Look at the guy on the far left right there. Look at that shirt. I mean, I don't see him hanging around with these two guys right here. And Zabka's full. Just jacked right now to the gills, maybe the biggest he's ever been, gassed out right now on steroids. I guarantee it, allegedly. And
he's looking great. He's clean shaved, and I love the gimmick of putting the glove. Whenever it's time to bully somebody, you put the gloves on, Ronnie.
He even does that too. Oh, sorry. Boom. Whenever it's time to get somebody. So they throw.
I thought that was thunder outside when your hands hit.
Hey, look, they throw Terry into the thorn bushes. She kept the gimmick, though, which is great. She definitely kept the gimmick. And she lands right next to this loser right here with the greasy hair. and you wonder why he don't have any friends. It's probably because he stinks. He dresses like a couch, and he's just sitting there. There's nothing appealing about this guy whatsoever, but she immediately falls in love with this guy. I've been the new person.
I disagree. I don't.
I'm laughing at Van Tansy because he does look like a vampire, especially when he gets the new look. He looks like a vampire. He looks exactly like Jim Carrey and Once Bitten after he gets bit.
I disagree, Ronnie, about her falling in love with him immediately. I don't think that happens until after the makeover.
Oh, well, I thought she's got the look in her eye whenever he's standing on the table, like, this is my man. Look in the background.
Okay,
right
so
here.
maybe you're right. Maybe when he finally stands up for himself, after all she's learned about him, that's when she falls in love. But I don't think it was immediate, because right now she's just trying to turn in her story. That's all she cares about. It ain't until after her first story gets rejected that she goes into a different, mode of being a boy and making new friends and finding out what it's like and stuff like that.
I love the amount of people that come and hang out with us that knows about wrestling. I'll never get tired of the wrestling references. Yeah, I mean, was she taking a 2-week break from her school, or is it a 1-week break? I mean, as a senior, does it matter if she misses? I guess in the 80s, they didn't take roll anyway. You just got to show up. In the background right here, Blake, I got this scene right here. First off, you can see what Doofy's wearing as he walks off. He's wearing brown on brown. But look at this guy in the background with the
Blue
neck
on blue.
brace. The neck, you got blue on blue, two different levels of blue. But look at the guy with the neck brace. I mean, I wonder what happened to his neck.
I don't know. I'm sure it was Greg. William Zapka got him.
Dropped him on his head. All right, so look, it's time we talk about these two geeks right here, Blake. I read originally they were supposed to be Trekkies, but Paramount couldn't get the rights for them to be called Trekkies, so they just had them act like aliens. They are, I mean, here's Twitch again, but okay, let's just see what
Who were
Twitch
the
has to
biggest
say.
geek losers in the movie? The 2 alien geeks or Ted from Friday the 13th part 2 who carries around lizards everywhere?
Good question, Blake. Who are the biggest geeks in this movie?
Ted from Friday the 13th Part 2 is the biggest geek because he's a loser who brings animals to school. He brings animals to prom. He's always got different animals with him, and he's annoying.
So you think he's a bigger geek than these two right here that are pretending to be aliens?
These two geeks will eventually grow out of that, Ronnie. Ted's going to be an animal loser for the rest of his life.
That's a lizard. I mean, at one point, she tries to sit down to talk to Ted, and he's in the process of feeding a rat to a snake he's carrying around. He's got iguanas.
He's always got iguanas, frogs,
raptors.
Just you name it, he's got it. It's ridiculous. Frogs.
You got to admire a teacher that is so into her work that she just lets this kid on the front row right here sleep. And then you got this roadie over here to the left in the front,
breaking fourth wall
with a rainbow shirt, just staring at us. In the back, I think we got the bad guy from that movie with Harrison Ford, where there's a bunch of androids. I don't know the name of it. But just the backgrounds on these scenes, Blake, are so fascinating to me. She's sitting there, and of course, we get to go into the boys' room, and she gets in there, and she acts like she don't know how to use a urinal. I was hoping she was going to pull a Randy Quaid and take a dump in the urinal, but she didn't do it. The writing on the background calling Joyce and I can't read the other one, but there's
Lisa.
Joyce and Lisa are the names of the director and Terry here in real life, calling them sluts. It's just Blake's favorite term, but I'm not going to use it, but just her experimenting with being a boy in all the most ridiculous ways, when we all know that a teenage girl, the first thing she's going to do when she goes to the bathroom is watch people pee. Because that's what most guys do anyway. That's the reason I piss in the parking lot and I don't go into the bathroom, is because you always got somebody staring at you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you agree. Blake, and for the people in the chat, here's the PE coach. What wonderful, amazing movie did he have a cameo in?
You got me. I hope you're asking the chat.
I'm asking the chat. I'll give the chat a few minutes while we talk about this. I'm sure they'll look it up. But I don't know. Is it Tim Robbins with a fro? Good question, Nick.
He's talking about the Trekkie in the classroom.
Yeah, Tim Robbins with a fro. The other guy was in House 2, The Second Story. I can't remember his name. Frank Zito, is that his name? I don't know. You guys have to look that up. But anyway, he goes in, and all of these PE coaches always have a story like Tugnut. This guy correlates everything with the game of bowling. He uses all kind of bowling references. And the thing that stuck out with me is he goes, I do jock checks once a week. You better be wearing one. So
3 times a week.
3 times a week. Does that mean he just makes them drop their britches and their shorts and make sure you got a jock on?
Yeah.
How weird is that? Jocks do absolutely nothing unless you're a baseball player with a cup in one. So, I mean, what is the point of a jock strap? If you're in the chat, tell me what the point of a jock strap is without Googling it, because I have zero idea. But she realizes right away she's got to get out of this boy's locker room because there's people getting beat up. There's people getting their clothes ripped off. And then I think she set something on fire, and it's a smoke alarm.
Yeah.
And when it comes time, almost as good as the Teen Wolf coach. You're right. The Teen Wolf coach is on another level. This guy, I don't think, is close to that, but the Teen Wolf coach is great. She lights something on fire, and then you see what she's got on when they're finna play basketball. And he's like shirts versus skins, which would have made for a great movie if she had to pull her shirt off right there in front of everybody and play basketball. The movie just rolls the credits. But since nobody's asked or answered yet, this guy is the security guard in Point Break. He's the one in the bank where the undercover cop or the guy that's a cop, plainclothes cop.
Wow. And he says, please don't do anything.
Yes.
Please don't do anything.
Please don't. He's one of the guys that gets killed. And I didn't have to look that up, Blake. I immediately knew who this guy was. And I was like, Bodie kills him or somebody kills him. So there you go. Jet said it's to keep from bouncing all over the place. I think a pair of underwear would do the exact same thing. I mean, I'm not sure, but I mean, I don't have that 80s mentality anymore.
I started to ask, what's the deal with his shirt, Ronnie, saying that he's a dentist, but that's his sponsor for his bowling team.
Yeah, he's wearing his bowling league shirt because it's all about bowling. And of course, Ted right here and Greasy behind him, Greasy Rick. Ted's got a salamander or something right there and a trouser snake, and he's always cutting up. I mean, this guy is the biggest geek. You're right. It ain't the two geek. This guy's a loser. Okay. And if we can ever get him on the show, I'd like to ask him, because I remember seeing him in one of those McDonald's commercials when I was watching Saturday morning cartoons. He's like in a McDonald's commercial, like smiling. So I'm sure this guy's dead, heroin, AIDS, something, but he's definitely a geek, and I can't stand to see him on my TV anymore. Now, this is not James Edward Almost, Blake. This is the actual he's the journalism teacher at the new school, and he's the one, like you've already said, that tells her your writing has no heart, no feeling. This is terrible. Just because you're a guy doesn't mean you're going to win. You better write something better because I'm not choosing until the end of the week. So
well, it says there behind you, contest closes May 25th. So we're in like the final days of school here, Ronnie.
Yeah. So I guess it's not that big of a stretch. Well, it is a big of a stretch that somebody would register for a school with a week and a half left, but I guess it's not that big of a stretch that
who cares? Who cares about that? What I want to bring up is the whole point of this project was to prove sexism. She gets over to this other school, and this guy doesn't pick her paper because guess what? Your paper sucks
as a guy and a girl.
So why is she still staying there? Why not go back to her school and come up with a new topic? Instead, we get this scene where she's talking to her brother and the older blonde best friend, and she's like, "There's a story here. I just don't know what it is yet." Okay, well, like, are you really going to turn it in as a guy and win that internship as a guy? I mean, go back home and do it as Terry the female.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is she going to show up as a guy if she wins it at this school? Is she going to pretend to be a guy the whole time she's at the Tribune? Is she just going to become a guy? Or is she going to show up as a girl and they're like, hey, I thought a guy won this? Who wants to work at the Tribune anyway? It sucks.
Well, no, Ronnie, back in the 80s, this is when it was all about, newspapers and magazines was it.
Well, I understand that, but I was trying to make a joke that fell flat. So they're drinking beer, Blake. And
how can you tell?
I came on here to specifically ask you about the can with just beer generically written across it. But then as I was doing my research, AKA IMDb and Wikipedia, there was actually a beer in the 80s called beer. So there you go.
Smart.
Yeah. So I thought this was a whole generic thing, but they're seniors and nobody's at home and they're just drinking beer like it ain't nothing. Hey, give me a brewski. And she's sitting here telling this guy, look, you got to go find a girlfriend. I don't know why she pivots from that. She pivots from her original story to I'm going to make a male friend. And then she makes this friend and she wants to get him a girlfriend immediately.
Do you think the drinking age was 18 back then in 85?
I don't know. I think 85, it was definitely 21. I really believe it. This dude is the biggest loser. Who's got James Brown on their closet door? Who's fascinated with James Brown that much that they're going to put it all over the room? And he's got a bullseye right next to it, which is weird. I mean, I know it's a dartboard, but is that what is that hanging in the corner? Is that like a punching
Speaker?
bag?
You talking about, is that a speaker?
Is it a speaker? Because if it's a punching bag, it explains why he can box so well at the end of the movie, but I don't think that's a punching bag.
Would you have any issues if it was Elvis memorabilia hanging up everywhere?
I would have issues if it was anything but rock music from the 80s. If it's Elvis, he's even a bigger weirdo. Just saying.
I don't have any issues with it. I mean,
You don't have an issue with James Brown?
no.
You know what he said?
Watch me.
It's a man's world.
Oh,
This freaking brother. They're eating pizza every scene. She goes, "You're the one that's supposed to be going shopping." They're living the best life in this beautiful house with no parents around, eating pizza every day. She asks him to do the dishes, and this is what he does. Twitch is coming in with the brother.
The brother Buddy is so annoying. Total pervert. The way he washed those dishes made me sick. He's the type of guy that doesn't flush the commode after he shits.
Well, there you go. Twitch coming through. I would agree that 100%. He's a filth bag, Blake. I don't take much. And I know what they're going for. They're going for the brother that's immature. I understand that. But this whole, I don't know why this guy bothers me. I mean, it must be the actor, right? It must be the actor because I've seen plenty of characters like this that haven't bothered me. So it's got to be that character.
it's easy, cheap comedy, Ronnie, and I think it works. I think it still works. I mean, he wipes off the plate. You can still see crumbs on it, and he's about to put it back on the shelf. It's classic.
Nick Push brings up a great point right here. Look how big those candles are, and they're pink. There you go. Phallic images. Could be. Could be. Who knows? The scenes where she makes him go around and ask people for dates. This is probably the most humiliating.
What kind of britches are those, man?
They're brown.
On both. I'm talking about the chick.
No, I'm talking about Rick here, who's dressed like Ted White from Friday 13th Part 4. That's his gimmick. He's got the green and the brown on. So, I mean, he must have just watched Friday 13th Part 4 and said, I'm going with that style. Okay. Now, Jet does bring up one thing about Bud. His room is hilarious. And I couldn't take a photo of his room in fear of YouTube bringing the stream down, but he covered the room with pornographic images from the Playboys. So the room is just all naked women. It's like the filthiest thing you ever walked into. And you got to believe, unless their parents are like their best friends and not really parents, that when they get back, they're going to make him take that crap down. They're going to be like, dude, what are you doing? What have you done?
I think that's the gimmick, Ronnie. He waited till they went on vacation to hang all that stuff up.
It's ridiculous. And I think I've solved it, Blake, because I love stupid movies. I love stupid characters. You know that. I think it's this actor that's rubbing me the wrong way, that I don't like him. I don't know what it is. But this guy couldn't get a date. He asked this Ugo right here 15 times. You want to go out? You want to go to prom? She's like, no. He goes, you want to go out tomorrow? No. You want to go out Sunday? No. Any day in 1986, are you available? And she said, no. It was yesterday. He got pissed off yesterday. Are you available yesterday? And she just rides off on her bicycle. She'd be lucky to get somebody that looks like this guy right here.
Yep.
I would think so anyway. In the background, is that a guy wearing a cape? No, that's her backpack. All right. What are all these guys over here to the right corner? What are they watching?
They're looking at a flyer.
What about these guys at it looks like a light pole right here. What are they doing?
I think the guy in the red is pissing.
So we're introduced to Sandy, who says that Terry looks like Ralph Macchio and that she's going to get him.
Hey, Ronnie,
So
how meta was that in '85 for her to say he looks like the Karate Kid when you got Zabka in the movie?
How does she look like the Karate Kid to you in this gimmick? Yeah, I think so too. So she says she can get a date for Rick. And the whole reason Terry agrees to this is so Rick can get a date. And this chick, Sandy, brings her 6th grade cousin.
This could have went horribly wrong for Sandy.
This
and the cousin.
He is hugged up to a 6th grader. Like I said, I watched this with my wife, and she could not comprehend what was being said when this girl goes, 6th grade is the worst. And she goes, what does that mean? And I was like, baby, she's a 6th grader. She goes, oh my Jesus. I think she walked out at that point. But it's just, and he walks off with her. He's hugged up to her.
Well, yeah, gotta have sex.
Like you said, it could have went horribly for Sandy. Instead, Sandy tries to sexually assault Terry and pulls the socks out.
How small can it be? Don't ask.
This is a great scene right here, Blake. I know I got a little hand motions right here, but Kevin comes home. Comes over to Terry's house. He tries to get the brother, who's got a girl coming over, to tell him what's going on. Like, the brother spent a whole 10-minute scene talking about he's finally going to get a girl. Well, Kevin shows up and ruins it for him. And he's sitting here actually making them study, which is hilarious because he's like, hey, pour me some of this champagne. Then he leans back and goes, what's the next question? They're doing math questions there. He's doing it on purpose to ruin Hugh Hefner right here's night because he don't like this kid. So he's making sure that they do their studying. It's great. Good pull right there, Nick. Is Ted going to pop out from behind the campfire? Would have been great. Would have been great if Ted would have dove into the campfire. So Terry comes home drunk during all this, Blake. Terry comes home drunk. She has to hide. And this is where Kevin is like,
what'd you do to your hair?
Yeah. He's like, where's your hair? Did you let a billy goat eat it off? It looks horrible. You look like hell. Where's my girlfriend? Where's my beautiful girlfriend? I think was the exact thing. Where's my hot girlfriend? And at this point, she still likes Kevin. So, I mean, I don't understand why she just didn't tell him the truth unless she thinks he would think she's crazy. I mean, I really don't. So they gave him some new clothes. They get Rick some new clothes.
It really doesn't make sense why she didn't tell him. Well, okay, no, it does. It does, because Kevin does not support her wanting to be a journalist. He says that, you know, you need to get a new hobby. And she's like, this is not a hobby. She goes, if I didn't love you, I would smack you or something along those lines. She goes, this is not my hobby. This is what I want to do for a living. And he's like, I just think you need to get a new hobby. So the seeds were planted there for why she would hide that from him. And is that Napoleon Dynamite back there?
That is Napoleon Dynamite. He's about to do, he's got the Canadian tuxedo on denim. Jet, what are you talking about? She looks smoking hot in that scene.
I think he's talking about the 6th grader.
Jet, explain that real quick. But no, in the background right here, we've got Napoleon Dynamite. Rick is introducing himself to the chick right here. She's like, hey, looking good. And of course, Zabka walks up, Greg walks up, and he's, you know, he puts the bullseye on him for later in the movie, especially in the cafeteria where he does all of his working out, Blake. He dumps the spaghetti. He dumps Sketty Row all over Rick. And of course, Rick's a big puss. He's not going to do anything back. But right there, what's her name?
That is Deborah.
Deborah sees it, and that's the end of Greg and Deborah.
I think these two will go on the following year to be an April Fool's Day.
You're right. Holy crap. That's the chick from April Fool's Day. I knew that Rick was an April Fool's Day, but you're right. She's there. I think they have a sex scene too. Now, I got this guy right here for a reason, Blake. Earlier, I probably should have got a screenshot of him. His gimmick is he gets worried.
Holy crap, you can get a taco combo for $1.25?
What do you think comes in a taco combo?
Well, I mean, you got to choose chicken or beef taco, and then what is the with? I'm
Hold
gonna say
on. Chicken.
it's chicken
White
or
meat.
beef.
It's got to be white meat, right? Let's see. Hamburger combo with cheese. That's all pretty cheap. $3 for a hamburger combo. I mean, I can take over this interview. That's part of the reason I put this here too, Blake, is I wanted to read the menu. But the janitor's always having to clean up this mess that Greg is making in the cafeteria when
Is
he's
that a
bullying.
janitor or a teacher?
No, he's a janitor. Earlier in the movie, he's mopping the hell out of the floor, and I just didn't get a screenshot. So Jet's talking about she looks smoking hot in one of the previous scenes with the short hair. So let's back it up and see.
No, it's when Terry comes home and she actually frizzes it up for when Kevin first sees her, and he's right. Like, Terry looks really good with that short hair when she's a chick.
There you go. So Deborah breaks up with Greg, and
Oh,
one more
man.
time.
Oh, we got to talk about that lunchroom scene, though, Ronnie. I know you just skipped by it, but so this happens.
Give me 1 second.
I got you.
The lunch. Well, wow. This is the first time I've screwed up, Blake. I had a slide in between this one and that one that I guess I did not save because I had the whole scene where he's standing up on the table. You go, take it away.
Well, I'm just saying, like, so he dumps the spaghetti on him, right? And he meets in the bathroom with Terry, and Terry's like, we gotta get this guy back, and
they're gonna use their brains.
Well, this is also one of the first clues of, is Terry gay? Because Terry picks some spaghetti off his shirt and fixes his hair. She goes, "You look so nice today. I hate this happened." And
it sounded just like her.
And by the way, earlier he's like, "Do you want to come in? Like, what do you got going on?" She's like, "Well, I was going to tune up my car, maybe play some football, but I guess I can come in and have a beer." I love how, like, that's her idea of what guys do. I'm going to go tune up my car and play football randomly. But yeah, she bought Rick those clothes, and Greg messed him up, ruined it after he was having a great day. So I'm assuming we go the very next day back in the lunchroom.
No, he asked her out that same day.
No, Ronnie, this is when he got the mess on him.
Oh, okay. No, after he got the mess on him, they went to the bathroom and concocted this plan. And then the next day he sees them still bullying people, the same Star Trek nerds.
Yeah.
And then Terry goes, "You should ask somebody to go to the prom." And I think Terry thought he was going to ask him. Because he looks jealous, or she looks jealous when he walks over to Deborah. But he said, "You should ask somebody right now." And he goes, "Let's don't ruin this day." So did Terry think he was going to go, "Hey, Terry, you want to go to the prom with me?"
I don't know. I do want to go back to the scene I was talking about, though, where Rick is in the cafeteria and he says, "You know what? I've had enough of this. Someone's got to stand up." And he stands up on the table. He's like, "Everyone can have your attention." And he just embarrasses Greg. He talks about the reason he's doing this is because he has a small brain or a small weenie. And for those of us in Greg's gym class, I think we know the answer. And he gets everybody to stand up, lift the tables up. All the food gets on Zapka. He's trying to get to Rick so he can beat him up. Everybody's clapping for Rick. Rick becomes instant hero, instant most popular guy in school as he walks out. And Deborah says, "I'm getting really tired of your antics, Greg." And he's like, "What do you want me to do?" And she's like, "Terry's right. You are an a-hole." And he goes, "That a-hole called me an a-hole?" She goes, "Let me guess. You want to beat him up too?" And he goes, "No, I'm going to buy him an ice cream." I couldn't skip over that.
Well,
but yeah, you're right. They're walking outside lockers too. I think that's cool. I'm sure that it's like that at big schools. But he's like, "Ask anybody you out." And he's like, "Don't start with me today, Terry. I'm having a great day. Do not start with this prom date stuff." And he's like, "Just ask one more girl. One more girl." He walks up to his dream girl and she says yes. And you're right. This is when Terry shows jealousy. He's like, he just asked the best looking girl out in school, his dream girl, and she said yes. So now I have zero shot with him because this is who he's wanted his whole life.
Whew. You okay? So after this, she's still got a good relationship with Kevin going on. She comes home, and I think this is what you and Jet were talking about. She fixes herself up, and she makes herself look as good as she possibly can with this short hair. And as she's wearing his favorite dress, and Sandy shows up to molest her. So she's got to dress back. She's got to change really quickly back into a guy. And when she walks downstairs, Kevin is there and he wants to know, I thought we were going to wherever. And she goes, we can order out. And he goes, I just want my good looking girlfriend back. I want her back. And I think this is where she decides she's done with Kevin, even though he's done absolutely nothing wrong. I think she's just fallen in love with Rick. And, you know, Rick's artistic. She's artistic. So it sort of matches up. But how artistic is she really? Because she was the stereotypical popular girl when this started, except she wants to be Lois Lane. Just saying. This prom looks awesome, though. They did a whole beach thing. They said they rented out a boat place. It doesn't take long before they announce Deborah and Greg as the prom king and prom queen, but Deborah refuses to dance with him. She goes, since I'm the queen, we're going to change the rules. Everybody dance, which pisses off Zabka. And he walks over and just punches Rick over the wall. But before that, we've got a child predator in the band that's checking out Terry's girlfriend, which is actually, you know, her best friend. And he pulls the blonde away from Terry during the prom. I mean, she can't even go the whole prom pretending to be the date. She's so desperate for a guy. Kavina shows up at the house and wants to know where the hell Terry is. And Bud, he posts Bud up on that door. I should have got that screen shot instead. And he goes, you're going to take me to where she is. And he goes, I wouldn't miss this for the world. I'm going. So here's what I was talking about earlier. The stunt guy right here that looks nothing like Zabka punches Rick over the top rope.
That looks nothing like Rick.
The two stunt guys clothesline each other over the top rope right here. And, of course, now he's got a teenage girlfriend. And I think that is Phil Collins in the back. And looks like the dude from The Sopranos, the Michael guy right here on the right.
I thought it was Robert Gibson in the back.
That might be Robert Gibson in the back. But Terry jumps to Rick's defense almost immediately, clawing and biting at Zabka. And he dumps him in the water. While this is going on, here comes Buddy. Here comes
Kevin. So this is my point. This is a point I'm glad you got this screenshot, Ronnie. As these two are walking up, he immediately notices Terry. Both of them do. And he sees that Terry is being carried by Zabka and thrown in the water. And he's like, what's going on? At this point of the movie, I thought Kevin was going to run up and beat the crap out of Zabka. I thought it could have been a character-defining moment, but it wouldn't have made sense. It wouldn't have worked with the flow of the movie. That needed to be Rick to do that. But he even runs up to the water as Terry's coming out of the water, and he's like, Terry, are you okay? Like, why are you asking if he's okay? Like, go
beat the hell out of the guy that just threw your girlfriend into the water.
Exactly. And like to Buddy's credit, he immediately runs after Zabka and jumps on his back. And Zabka's like, where you guys learn how to fight?
You're right. But I think they couldn't do that, Blake. I think you hit the nail on the head. They couldn't do that because that would make the character too likable. They did their best to make this character not likable. Is it a situation where the guy playing the character is just too likable to be hated? Or do we like this guy because of the last comment of the movie?
I think it's the last comment of the movie. But, Ronnie, what I would have done differently, I would have had him come up. I would have had him get the information from Buddy about what's going on. I would have had him come up right as Terry is about to talk to Rick. And he interrupts and says, Terry, I know what you're doing. You're doing an undercover journalist thing, dressing up like a boy. You know, I'm going to support you. He basically blows her cover in front of the entire school and Rick finds out that way. And then that's when her and Rick should have went off together. So I thought they could have done something similar to that, but they didn't do it.
So after he gets tossed in the water, Rick gets up and beats up Zabka and throws him through the table like ECW right here.
Well, yeah, he's got a great line. He's like, all right, tough guy. My back's not turned anymore. You want to try that again? Huh?
He beats him to sleep, too. I mean, literally, he's laying out by the water. He probably drowned.
No pain, no gain.
This is the best scene of the movie, or the best part of the movie for me, Blake, because it's a serious moment. Terry, Kevin, what are you doing here? Just go home. I'll call you later. And Rick's like, what's going on? And he goes, I'm Terry's boyfriend. And he's so angry. And from Rick's perspective, he sees an angry gay guy that's gigantic yelling at him about being around Terry.
I'm just a friend.
That's what what he says. I'm just a friend. He doesn't want to get beat up, which, I mean, you got to figure that Kevin here is way bigger than Zabka. So if they put them side by side, it probably would look like an adult to a kid. That's probably why they didn't have them interact. I would think. I don't know. We have to talk to the director.
She tells Kevin right there in front of Rick, I'm not in love with you anymore. I'm in love with someone else.
Yes.
And Rick says something along those lines, and you can't really hear it, not interested, and walks away. And then she's like, hang on, come with me 1 second. And then
she tells him she's a girl, and you get the biggest scene of the movie that we couldn't put on there where she opens her shirt up to him, and he's all freaked out. He goes, where do you get off having those? And then she ruins Rick's life. It's a good thing he's fixing to graduate high school because all these people see are two guys kissing.
Yeah.
All right. In the 80s. And there you go. And he goes, don't worry, guys. She's got breasts. And then we got this guy right here. Great scene.
So everything just went down. Two guys kissed. And Rick says, it's okay, everyone. He has titties, which is hilarious because think about that sentence, Ronnie. It's okay what you just saw. What you just saw, it's okay because he has titties.
Parker donates $2 and asks how you making it. Are we supposed to not like Kevin? I like the guy. The guy was just wondering why his girlfriend shaved her head and started ignoring him. He seemed like a good dude. Or are we supposed to hate him because he wanted Terry to not work as a journalist?
Well, I mean, it's really good points, but he's just hanging out, leaning up against the tiki torch now. His girlfriend just broke up with him forever. And he sees this blonde and he goes, hi, I bet you're here with a date, aren't you? And she goes, yep, and walked away. And that's it for Kevin. I love it. I absolutely love it.
He couldn't have went out any better. This whole situation, if we put ourselves in his situation, Blake, where his girlfriend is just a girlfriend of however many, probably been dating her for a year or more, has just revealed that not only she dressed like a dude, but she doesn't love him anymore. He's been broken up with, and he hangs around to flirt with a girl before he leaves, which is absolutely great. This guy's the best. He's the best character in the movie to me. I don't understand why we're supposed to hate him. He's great. He was done wrong. He only had one bad comment that he said to Terry. So bravo, Kevin or Kavina. Now she's got the look, you know, she's owning the short hair for the last bit of school. These two dweebs to the right and left of her and her friend are the ones that the blonde wanted them to have something to do with them early in the movie, but they won't. But now everybody knows that Terry is single and they're all over her right now. I
really hope you have a screen grab of the next guy who asked her out.
I don't have a screen grab of that guy just because of time reasons, but he's a booger.
Yeah,
now,
he goes up to the blonde in the beginning of the movie, and he does the whole Seinfeld close talker thing. He's like, hi, you want to go out? Well, then he comes back to Terry at the end. He goes, Terry, I read your article. I really like what you said about it doesn't matter how you dress. You know, you can still be cool and stuff. You want to go out? And she's like, no. It's like,
no,
what a story for this guy. He gets rejected in the beginning. He gets rejected at the end.
So did she win the journalism contest at her school or at the other school?
I don't know.
And if they're having that contest at every school, how many people went to work for the Sun Tribune that year?
Well, no, they only had the contest at the two schools, Pearl and, you know, whatever the other one is, San Dimas or whatever. And,
San Dimas.
And she had to be one of the 4 selected. So, but her paper got published in the article.
What do you think about this look right here, Blake?
I love it. I dig the blonde's look too. Like I'm wearing my boyfriend's shirt.
Yeah, there you go.
But it's not a boyfriend shirt though, because whatever's got going on at the waist, that's definitely some chick stuff.
I thought she had a crutch there for a reason, but it looks like something else. So you get like some finality with the journalism teacher where he goes, I'm super proud of you. You went out and you wrote a great article. I'm pretty sure she's just in her bra right there. So it's more revealing than anything she's worn the whole movie. He's like, I'm really proud of you. You did a really good job.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. The movie ends with Buddy coming to pick her up. She's been working at the Tribune, I'm guessing all summer, Blake?
Yeah, I mean, you don't really get a time lapse. You see that her hair's grown out a little bit. So,
what do you think about the look?
I love it. I love them all, Ronnie.
And of course, Rick shows up. He read her article back at the beginning of the summer, and I'm guessing Deborah broke up with him now, so he's running up to Terry. So here we go.
He says, I've missed you.
Yeah. I missed you. And she goes, won't we go dance? And he goes, won't you let me ask you out? I'm the man. She did. And of course, the movie's got to end on a comedic note with the brother jumping on the back of this hog with his hog and riding off as the credits roll, Blake. So there you go. That's just one of the guys. And
I feel like a lot of movies stole some elements from this, Ronnie. Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore. She goes undercover as a student to write a story. I think there's an Amanda Bynes movie where she dresses up like a dude.
Yeah. That's the one that comes to mind with me is the Amanda Bynes where she dresses up.
There's a Corey Haim movie called Just One of the Girls where he dresses up as a chick. So, this movie, this movie's definitely underrated. I feel like it got lost in the 80s, don't you?
Yeah, it found a life on VHS, like a lot of good movies did. It found a life on VHS at the rental store. There was a lot of John Hughes magic happening during like 84 to 88, 89. So I'm sure it's tough to get in there. I think they said this movie grossed $11 million worldwide, which is not a lot of money, but it lives on 40 years later as, I think, a really good movie. I don't know if there's been a movie where they've done the identity switch as good as this one. But I think it's mainly because it's so absurd is the reason we accept it so much. So, I mean, just one of the guys. What do you rate it, Blake?
It's 7.5 out of 10. What I love about it is there's not really a big star in it, Ronnie. I mean, is Zabka the biggest star of this movie?
Yeah, Zabka will be the biggest star. Guys in the chat, the people we have left, rate the movie if you want to. I think I'm going to go 6.2 for just one of the guys. I mean, I think it's going to be one of those movies that I can watch once or twice a year.
I agree, Jet. I agree. I think it's better than some of Hughes' stuff.
Jet's going with 8.7 out of 10 for that. Jet's loving him some Terry right now. Jet says liked it more than some of the Hughes stuff. Some of those Hughes movies, they're hit and miss. And I'm going to say this. I'm not sure that some of the most popular Hughes movies hold up as well as some of these other movies years on down the line, just because there's a lot of privilege and wealth in some of those movies, and you can't identify with some of the characters. At least you can't now. As a 90s person, I can't identify with them. But 6.2 for me, Blake. I like the movie. I like all the characters except for the brother, and it just might be I'm having a bad night or a bad viewing of the movie. Yeah. But it's a really good movie. I would advise everybody, if you haven't seen just one of the guys, and I don't think we had many people in the live chat that hadn't seen the movie. It seemed like everybody was 80s-tastic. Go out of your way to check out just one of the guys. And if you're watching this later, hit us in the comments and tell us what you think about this movie. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. You guys live in the chat now, hit the notification bell, because you never know when me and Blake might go live to talk while he's coming home from softball practice about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailers and things like that. Blake, next week, what do we have lined up?
I'm not sure, brother. You're going to have to help me out. Are we going to do another live stream Sunday? Or is this going to be the gimmick? We go live every Wednesday and Sunday? Are we done making regular content, Ronnie?
No, we're not done making regular content. How dare you? Next Wednesday, March 15th, Cold Trickle, Days of Thunder.
Boom.
So that should be a fun one. I haven't seen that movie in a little bit.
Let me drive, Harry.
I'm excited.
Trust me, Harry.
I'm excited about talking Tom Cruise, Days of Thunder. I'm excited that we only had one hiccup with the technology, Blake, in this whole stream. So it's looking like it might have been a laptop issue and a cracking of the door issue.
Hey, wait a minute. Lean back a second. Is that a Love Burger shirt?
Yeah.
Anyone order a Love Burger? Y'all know what movie that's from?
Well done. So here's my question. You asked a good one. Sunday, we're going to pump out some content, regular shows, because we're finally going to get some time to do that. I just wanted to talk Scream 1 and 2, Blake. I think from time to time, because we're very limited on the days that we can go live. I think right now, Wednesday and Sunday are the only days. Thanks, Jet. Thanks for showing up, buddy. I think Wednesdays and Sundays are the only days that you don't have your days packed with stuff to do, family style. So on Sundays, we either choose to go live sometimes or we pack in a full couple hours doing content. I say this Sunday, if we get the urge to go live, maybe Sunday night, the itch, let's do it. But I'm not going to promote anything. I think a Sunday we put a bunch of stuff in the can and I can start editing it. Okay. And then we put it out the next week.
Hey, should I buy me a pair of Bret Hart sunglasses?
I don't think the Bret Hart sunglasses hold up as much as you know, as the years go on. The Bret Hart sunglasses were really lame. They were lame and cheap.
They were.
Yeah, I think the sunglasses you got on right now, perfect with a K.
Do you want this to be my gimmick from now on?
What, sunglasses?
Yeah.
What is this dude with Buck Cherry? What's the fascination here? Chris, thanks for being here. Nick, thanks for being here. Bud, thanks for popping in and being uncomfortable with women who dress like men. Jason Drone, Michael Dammit, Blake, who am I leaving out?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Jet.
Jet, thanks for coming. I already told Jet, thank you. Thanks for coming through and watching us, guys. We didn't expect a big crowd for just one of the guys, and we were surprised that we had some pretty decent numbers.
Jake Blaster popped in just to promote his channel, and
y'all check out the 1983 top songs are the top songs according to him?
According to him, not according to the charts.
Just according to him.
Yeah.
So shouldn't it be called my favorite songs from 1983?
Well, no, he can't do that because he knows nobody cares.
He labels it the top because the top is the algorithm word that everybody wants to put in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Next week, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say next Wednesday is Days of Thunder, right?
Yes.
When is Mac and Me?
All right. Let's do this live on the air. Mac and Me would be the following Wednesday, March 22nd.
Mac and Me is going to be very fun.
Guys, if you want to, I've got it listed up until the end of March. If you want to go check out our future live streams, next week, Days of Thunder, the following week, Mac and Me. March 29th, as we ramp up for baseball season, we're going to do Major League on March 29th. April the 5th, Harry and the Hendersons. And then April the 12th, we've got the Burbs. April 19th, Masters of the Universe. April the 26th, Top Gun. May the 4th be with you. We're going to do the original Star Wars. And then May 10th, and that's where I'll stop, is Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And from there on out, every Wednesday. And we'll add, look, I like the gimmick of throwing in a horror movie every now and then, Blake, if we got a big announcement. But that's going to be mainly October. So for Blake, I'm Ronnie. Thank you to everybody in the chat that showed up tonight.
Pink eye.
Blake's got pink eye, and he's not going to show us what the eye looks like before we end. So, see you guys.
You don't want me to, right?
Oh, well, I don't know. I'm probably not.
Hey, can you cut the stream right as I go to lift them up, Ronnie?
We'll lift them up.
Can we time it just right?
I don't know.